Good morning, everyone. Let me ask you something simple but powerful. Are you choosing to be happy today? You see, happiness isn't just something that happens to us. It's not just the result of everything going right or all our dreams coming true. Happiness is a choice. And like every choice, it's one we have to make intentionally every single day. We live in a world that tries to sell us the idea that we'll be happy when we get the promotion, when we find the perfect relationship, when we have more money, when we lose weight. But here's the truth. If you're always waiting for the next thing to be happy, you'll never be happy. Happiness doesn't live in the future. It lives in the present. It lives in the way we see life, the way we talk to ourselves, the way we choose to respond when things don't go our way. Now, don't get me wrong. Life isn't always easy. We face struggles. We lose people. We make mistakes. But even in the hardest times, we can find reasons to smile. We can be grateful. We can focus on what we have instead of what we lack. We can choose peace over stress. We can choose love over anger. We can choose hope over fear. Happiness is not pretending everything is perfect. It's seeing the imperfections and choosing joy anyway. Happiness is one of the most sought-after experiences in life, yet so many people go through their days waiting for it to arrive as if it's something that just happens by accident. But the truth is, happiness is not a random gift handed to the lucky few. It is a conscious decision. You can't always control what happens to you, but you can always control how you respond. That response, your attitude and mindset, is where happiness begins. Every day presents you with a choice to focus on what's wrong or to see what's right, to dwell on the past or to embrace the present, to complain or to appreciate. Choosing happiness doesn't mean ignoring reality or pretending problems don't exist. It means choosing to rise above negativity, to keep hope alive even in the storm, and to find light even in the smallest moments. It's a decision to not let outside circumstances control your internal peace. Some people have perfect conditions on the outside, yet they're miserable. Others face difficulty daily, but they walk with joy. Why? Because happiness is not found in events, it's found in your perspective. The moment you take ownership of that choice, you take back your power. One of the most effective ways to make that choice is to practice gratitude. Gratitude is a quiet, powerful force that shifts your focus from what's missing to what's already there. It doesn't take away your problems, but it changes how you see them. When you begin to count your blessings, your health, your breath, your family, your opportunities, you begin to notice how much you've already been given. You start to realize that happiness isn't found in having more, but in appreciating what you have. Some people wait for big miracles to feel thankful, but often the miracle is the fact that you woke up today, that you have food to eat, someone to talk to, or a body that still fights for you every day. Happiness is not something that just happens to a lucky few. It's not reserved for those who have perfect lives, flawless relationships, or endless success. The truth is, happiness is not a destination you reach when everything goes right. It is a decision you make, often in the middle of things going wrong. It's a choice, a bold, intentional, and daily act of the heart and mind. So often we think we'll be happy when circumstances change, when we get the job, the house, the recognition, or the peace we've been waiting for. But life doesn't always deliver things on our timeline. Challenges come, plans fall apart, people disappoint us. Still, in the midst of all this, we are given a power greater than the events that happen to us, the power to choose how we respond. That's where real happiness lives. It's not about pretending everything is perfect, nor is it about forcing a smile when you're hurting. It's about understanding that even in the imperfection, the uncertainty, the waiting, and the healing, you can still choose to focus on the things that give you peace. You can choose to see the beauty in the small moments. You can choose to be kind to yourself. You can choose to keep your hope alive. That choice won't always be easy. Sometimes it means choosing to get out of bed when everything inside you wants to give up. Sometimes it means turning off the noise of negativity and comparison and turning toward gratitude. It might mean forgiving someone who doesn't deserve it, not for them, but so that your heart can be free. It might mean accepting that you cannot control everything, but you can control your attitude, your reactions, and your focus. That shift in thinking is what creates real happiness, not something temporary, but something lasting. You see, when you wait for happiness to arrive from the outside, you'll always be chasing it. But when you decide to claim it from the inside, no one can take it away from you. It becomes your strength, your anchor, your light on dark days. Happiness is found in how you treat people, how you speak to yourself, how you hold on to hope even after disappointment. It's found in the ability to say, "This may not be what I expected, but I'm still going to make the most of it." It's choosing to grow instead of getting bitter. It's choosing to believe that something better is coming, even if you don't see it yet. It's understanding that every moment you are alive is a gift, and you can fill that moment with joy, not because everything is perfect, but because you're choosing to make peace with the imperfection. Some of the happiest people in the world don't have easy lives. They've just learned that their happiness is too important to hand over to their circumstances. They know that joy doesn't come from what happens to them. It comes from what they decide in their hearts. That's your power too. You don't have to wait for the world to change before you can be happy. You can change the way you see the world. You can train your heart to find reasons to smile, to appreciate, to rise again. You can be the kind of person who walks into a room and brings light with them, not because life is always good, but because you've decided to be good to life anyway. And even on days when it's hard, when you feel tired, when things are uncertain, you still get to make that choice. You can pause, take a deep breath, and say, "Today, I choose joy. Today, I choose peace. Today, I choose to keep going." That's not weakness. That's not denial. That's strength. That's power. That's wisdom. So don't wait for happiness to arrive with some big event. Don't put it off until you've earned it, or proved yourself, or reached some goal. Start now. Choose it now. Look around and find one thing to be thankful for, one reason to smile, one step you can take forward. And when you make that choice again and again, day after day, it becomes a way of life. It becomes a habit of the heart. It becomes a light you carry through every season, both the good and the hard. And little by little, you discover that happiness isn't about what the world gives you. It's about what you give to yourself and what you give to the world around you. It's about waking up each day and deciding to live with hope, with kindness, with courage. It's about choosing to be happy, not because life is perfect, but because you are willing to find joy in the imperfect. Happiness is one of the most powerful emotions we can experience, yet so often we treat it as if it's out of our control. Something that only happens when life is perfect, when everything falls into place, or when certain goals are finally reached. But the truth is, happiness is not an outcome. It is a choice. It is not reserved for those with wealth, perfect health, or fame. It is something that each one of us can choose every single day, regardless of what's happening around us. Life is unpredictable. Some days are filled with joy, while others bring stress, disappointment, or pain. But the ability to be happy in spite of those fluctuations lies in recognizing that we don't have to be at the mercy of our circumstances. Choosing to be happy means deciding that you will not let traffic, criticism, rejection, or even hardship steal your peace. It means accepting that you are in control of your emotions, your focus, and your response to what life brings your way. You can choose to carry a positive outlook, even when everything is not going right. You can choose to see light in the darkness, to smile through the tears, and to find meaning in the mess. That doesn't mean you pretend everything is fine when it's not, or that you ignore pain and struggle. What it means is that you don't allow those things to become your identity, or define your entire emotional experience. Instead of saying, "I'll be happy when things get better," you start saying, "I'll be happy even while I'm growing through this." That choice, that mindset, is where your strength lies. Every time you choose happiness over resentment, peace over chaos, hope over despair, you build emotional resilience. You start to live from a place of inner strength, not external validation. But making that choice consistently doesn't always come naturally. That's where gratitude becomes essential. Gratitude is like a lens that helps us focus on what we have instead of what we lack. When you live in gratitude, you begin to realize that happiness isn't in having everything, but in appreciating everything you already have. Even in difficult moments, there is always something to be thankful for. Maybe it's your health, your breath, a supportive friend, a quiet moment of peace, or just the fact that you woke up to see another day. The more you practice gratitude, the more you begin to rewire your thoughts to notice the good. And when you see the good, you start to feel good. That's because gratitude shifts your attention from the negative to the positive, from worry to wonder, from stress to serenity. People who live in gratitude tend to be more optimistic, more content, and more emotionally grounded, not because their lives are perfect, but because they've trained their hearts to recognize the beauty in imperfection. Gratitude teaches you that joy doesn't come from having more things or reaching every goal, but from recognizing the value in what's already present. It invites you to stop chasing happiness and start cultivating it from within. Even something as simple as writing down 3 things you're thankful for each day can shift your mood, your energy, and even your relationships. It reminds you that happiness isn't something you wait for, it's something you create. Together, the power of choice and the practice of gratitude form a foundation for a truly joyful life. When you accept that your happiness is your responsibility and back that choice with a heart full of thankfulness, you become emotionally free. You stop giving your joy away to other people's opinions, to the pressures of society, or to circumstances you can't control. You begin to understand that you have more power over your life than you ever realized. You can wake up each morning and say, "No matter what this day holds, I choose to look for the good. I choose to be kind. I choose to be thankful. And I choose to be happy." That is not a weak decision. It is one of the strongest, most empowering decisions you can make. Because in a world that constantly tells us we are not enough, that we need to do more, have more, be more to be happy, it is a radical and beautiful act to say, "I am enough right now. I have enough right now. I choose joy right now." And when you live like that, anchored in choice and fueled by gratitude, you not only transform your own life, but you also become a light to those around you. Your happiness becomes contagious, your peace becomes an example, and your life becomes a reflection of a simple but profound truth, that happiness is not something we find, it's something we choose, and something we grow through gratitude, every single day. Would you like this adapted for a younger audience, into a speech format, or broken into multiple sections for easier reading? You said give me 3 key points on topic, choose to be happy in 900 words, without headings and paragraph. ChatGPT said, certainly. Below is a 900-word essay in a single paragraph on the topic, choose to be happy, built around 3 key points. Happiness is a personal and intentional choice. Gratitude transforms our mindset and nurtures joy, and letting go of negativity is essential for inner peace and lasting happiness. Here is the continuous paragraph without any headings. Happiness is one of the most misunderstood, yet most desired states of being. Many people believe that happiness is something that comes to them when life finally goes their way, when they achieve their goals, when they find the right relationship, when all their problems are solved. But real happiness doesn't work like that. It isn't something handed to us by perfect circumstances. It is something we must choose, daily, regardless of our circumstances. Choosing to be happy means taking responsibility for your own emotional well-being. It means waking up each morning and deciding that no matter what the day brings, success or struggle, joy or challenge, you will look for the good, remain grounded in hope, and refuse to let negativity steal your peace. Happiness is not about living in denial or ignoring your pain. It's about choosing to live with perspective. You may not have control over everything that happens to you, but you always have control over how you respond. That's where your power lies. By choosing happiness, you take back control from the chaos of the outside world and begin to create a calm, strong center within yourself. One of the most powerful tools in making that choice is practicing gratitude. Gratitude has a way of opening your eyes to the blessings that are already present in your life, blessings that are often overlooked because we're too busy focusing on what we lack. When you live in a constant state of comparison or dissatisfaction, you rob yourself of the joy available to you right now. But when you shift your focus and start noticing the simple, beautiful things, like a kind word, a peaceful moment, the roof over your head, or the ability to breathe, you begin to feel more content and more alive. Gratitude doesn't require that everything be perfect. It simply asks that you look for what's good, and the more you practice it, the more natural it becomes. It rewires your mind to look for light in the darkest times. It helps you stop chasing happiness in the future and start experiencing it in the present. It teaches you that happiness is not in having everything, but in recognizing the value of what you already have. And once you start living from that place of appreciation, you begin to find joy in even the smallest moments. But choosing to be happy and living in gratitude also means learning to let go. You cannot hold on to bitterness, resentment, anger, or fear and expect to feel peace. Holding on to negativity only drains your energy and keeps you stuck in the past. It creates a heavy emotional burden that clouds your vision and blocks the flow of joy. Letting go does not mean forgetting or pretending that hurt never happened. It means choosing to stop letting those things define you. It means releasing the belief that your happiness depends on someone else's actions or validation. It means forgiving others, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. Letting go is an act of self-love, and it is essential if you want to live with emotional freedom. When you release what no longer serves you, you make space for happiness to grow. You begin to experience a deeper kind of joy, one that isn't dependent on everything going right, but one that comes from being right within yourself. You no longer need permission from the world to feel good about your life. You no longer tie your worth to your past, your mistakes, or other people's opinions. Instead, you rise each day with a fresh heart, open to the beauty around you, and confident in your ability to create joy from within. That's the true essence of choosing to be happy. It's not passive, it's powerful. It's not a reaction to the world, but a declaration to the world that your joy is yours to own. And when you start to live this way, choosing happiness, practicing gratitude, and letting go of what holds you back, you become a different kind of person. You become calmer, kinder, and more resilient. You become a source of light and hope for others. Your life becomes less about what's missing and more about what's possible. And that choice, repeated day after day, becomes a habit, a lifestyle, and eventually, a legacy. Happiness may not always be easy to choose, especially during difficult seasons, but it is always available to you. It lives in your attitude, your perspective, and your heart. And every time you make that choice, you are telling yourself and the world that you are strong enough, wise enough, and worthy enough to be happy right now, just as you are. If you'd like a version of this for a speech, school presentation, or tailored to a specific audience like youth, professionals, or spiritual settings, I'd be happy to adapt it for you. You said give me 4 key points on topic. Choose to be happy in 900 words, without headings and paragraph. ChatGPT said, certainly. Below is a 900-word essay, in a single paragraph on the topic, choose to be happy, built around 4 key points. Happiness is a personal choice. Gratitude cultivates happiness. Letting go of negativity creates space for peace. Happiness positively impacts others and spreads. Here is your complete response in paragraph form, without headings. Happiness is not something that simply falls into our laps when life becomes perfect. It is a conscious and personal choice that we make each day, often in the face of imperfection. Many people wait for happiness as if it will arrive when certain conditions are met: a better job, more money, the right relationship, or a long-awaited achievement. But those who have truly found peace and contentment understand that happiness does not come from the outside. It starts from within. Choosing to be happy means deciding that your joy will not be dictated by circumstances, but by your mindset. Life will always be unpredictable,
and challenges are inevitable, but your ability to respond with a positive outlook and a calm spirit is something you control. You can choose to see the good in your day, even when it's difficult. You can choose to rise above pettiness, criticism, and drama. You can decide to be kind to yourself, to speak words of hope and encouragement into your own heart, and to believe that your life still holds beauty, even when things feel broken. This inner strength grows stronger with the help of gratitude, which is one of the most powerful tools for nurturing happiness. Gratitude transforms how we see the world. It teaches us to focus not on what is missing, but on what is already present and meaningful. It invites us to appreciate simple joys, a warm cup of tea, a conversation with a loved one, a quiet moment of peace, or even the breath in our lungs. When we practice gratitude regularly, we begin to train our minds to notice and value these things, instead of chasing happiness through endless wants and comparisons. The more grateful we are, the more happiness naturally begins to flow into our life, not because our circumstances change, but because our perspective does. Instead of saying I'll be happy when, we begin to say, I'm thankful now, and that's enough. This doesn't mean we stop striving for goals, but it means we find joy in the journey, instead of postponing it. Along with gratitude, letting go of negativity is essential in choosing happiness. Carrying resentment, jealousy, guilt, or anger only adds unnecessary weight to our hearts and blocks the light of joy from entering. We often hold on to past pain, either from ourselves or others, thinking it will somehow protect us, but in reality, it only drains us. Letting go is not about pretending the hurt didn't happen, but about releasing its power over your emotions. Forgiveness becomes a gift you give yourself, not to excuse someone else's actions, but to free your own heart from bitterness. Choosing not to dwell on negative thoughts, not to feed cycles of worry or complaint, and not to allow the past to steal the present, is one of the most liberating decisions you can make. You make space for peace, for calm, for fresh beginnings. When you let go, you don't just lighten your emotional load, you also create room for happiness to grow. And the beautiful truth is, when you choose to be happy, it doesn't just stay with you, it spreads. Your attitude influences the people around you more than you might realize. When you walk into a room with joy in your heart, kindness in your tone, and peace in your spirit, you uplift others. Your happiness becomes a source of strength and inspiration. It encourages others to believe that they too can rise above their struggles, that they can smile again, hope again, and dream again. Choosing happiness is not selfish, it's a generous act. It says to the world, there is still good here, there is still light, there is still something worth celebrating. In your family, among your friends, in your workplace, and even with strangers, your decision to live joyfully can shift the atmosphere. And the more you give joy, the more it returns to you. It becomes a cycle of blessing that multiplies with every smile, every kind word, and every moment of gratitude shared. So choosing to be happy is not just about your own well-being.